As our minds evolved, a new constant was born: documentation, records of information from the past that present and future minds are capable of expanding upon with their own unique insight and approach. But with such a structure that depends on unanimous agreement, any information can seep through and be accepted as truth so long as it appears convincing. Misinformation and misconceptions in every field of study have been plentiful over the course of history. Theories and ideas are ever shifting, if only slightly. Some people find themselves resting on a solidified foundation, whereas others collapse under the weight of their poorly fabricated structure. The fantastical and unknown becomes the mundane, but with further expansion and question of present information, the mundane becomes the unknown and enthralling once more. From our island of knowledge, we can explore beyond the borders which we have artificially placed around ourselves. From this island lies an ocean, both expansive and deep. But even greater than the sea is the vast emptiness beyond us. The Earth, the solar system, even the galaxy. A reality of ambiguous size is home to an unknowable number of unknowns, a majority of which we will never answer. Ideas and thoughts that will never be, simply because we do not know where to look. There is a sort of catharsis to be found at the foot of our cosmic naivety, in the form of artistic expression. As we do not know everything there is to know, artists of all disciplines are capable of shaping and molding their own questions and answers based off of the gray areas within our reality. One of our species' most fascinating questions to ever sprout discussion is conceptually simple. Are we the only actor in this cosmic theater that we call existence? Are we truly alone among the stars? Is there anyone else out there to hear our calls for interaction? And if the calls are answered, what sort of intention may the response entail? The concept has been explored countless times in the past, and countless more in the future. Of the many fictitious renditions produced, most tend to lean towards the extremes: apocalyptic invasions, dystopian futures held under totalitarian rule, monster movies, abstract slashers, and so on. In media and entertainment, aliens tend to play as complementary characters to humans, taking the role of antagonists with basic goals and motivations. Or, in rare cases, they are the victims of human cruelty. But one region is frequently neglected: the bridge of cosmicism and uncertainty between the radical stereotypes is almost never explored. Artwork where the alien antagonists, one-dimensional humanized characteristics, are replaced by an unknowable and inhuman motive is a rarity. But when a skilled artist takes their work in that ambiguous direction, the fear of encountering the unknown becomes ever more suspenseful when the intentions go beyond our narrow understanding of sapient behavior. As some of you may remember, we've covered Signal Simulator in the past, and for quite some time, development has been stagnant. Whether or not the project has been completed or abandoned is a matter of interpretation. As for the dev himself, Blagavest Penev has been missing for well over a year now. His whereabouts and condition have not been alluded to on any of his platforms. Let's not speculate or linger on the subject. For those that are unaware of what Signal Simulator is, In Signal Sim, we take the role of an unnamed character who is tasked with scanning the stars for incoming signals. A majority of these will come from inconsequential origins, such as planets, stars, asteroids, and so on. But on rare occasions, we might come across signals from unclear sources. What follows can be anything from random gibberish to coherent sentences, with the potential for an event to unfold. In light of Blago's absence, another developer has taken the reins on this obscure subgenre. Mr. Dr. Knows, the developer behind the Signal Sim-inspired game, Voices of the Void. We start our first day, night to be more precise, at the entrance gate of a compound hidden away in the lush Swiss mountains. Following the trail, we move parallel to the river with the dense forest to our side, the odd bridge providing passage over the river if need be. Strategically placed lamps and signs are dotted about the gravel path, leading us toward the on-site base. Breaching the woods, we have a much better view of the facility, a large concrete structure with garbage thrown about the premises takes the foreground, while a massive tower reaching far above any tree in the area supplements the building's existence. Red blinking lights, akin to those on each of the satellite antennas, periodically flicker at the top of the tower, indicating the site's location without the use of our compass. Useful if in the event we are in a hurry and don't have time to stop at one of the satellite terminals. Inside the base, 3 rooms. From the main entrance and down the hall, our bedroom. To the left of the entrance, an assortment of supply crates crowds the corner. At the foot of our currently occupied bed, a microwave and some uneaten food sit next to the toilet and sink. Aside from the odd collection of mannequins and a vandalized poster, there's nothing else of interest here. Here is where we will spend most of our time toiling away. At the center of the room is our laptop and main computer. We'll come back to these later. To the left of the filthy window, a telescope, currently fixated on Mars, and beside it, a map of the compound. Further down the wall, an abundance of servers are at our disposal, along with the facility's root terminal. On the opposite side of the room, past the 2 dividers, sits the radar system and a collection of storage drives. By the end of a typical day, we will have used almost every item and system in this room at least once. The final package is taken to the garage. Like the other rooms, it too is littered with supply crates and, to a lesser extent, trash. The drop and pickup points for deliveries, a panel on the wall opposite of the interior entrance is used to call the drone, which is responsible for receiving our packages, and a few other supplies are scattered about the room. Now that we are familiar with our new home, what exactly are we expected to do here? On our laptop, a message will be waiting for us. The sender is our superior, Dr. Bao. To paraphrase, every morning we will be sent a list requesting signals at varying levels of processing, as well as hash codes from specific satellites. Before midnight, the signals and report must be delivered. With each successful delivery, we are given credits which we can spend on decorations, entertainment, supplies, and utilities. As for roadblocks we will invariably encounter, expect server crashes both in the facility and at various satellites. Repairing the superficial damage is a minor inconvenience. At infrequent intervals, you may experience a power outage for one reason or another. The exact cause is not always clear. Lastly, keep the doors locked. The radar may prove useful. With all that in mind, what might we come across while scanning the stars? There are the usual celestial bodies, planets, stars, etc. But on occasion, we may come across some that are drastically different from the rest. Rogue satellites, including Voyager 1, black holes, deep space, and From this point onward, the task remains the same. We are a slave to the monotony and our imagination. As we progress, we are given the option to spend credits on our system in order to perform our job faster and process higher level signals, revealing both visual and auditory information. Eventually, you're likely to find yourself struck with curiosity. What else is on the property? Is anything happening on the property without you noticing? By now, we'll have repaired numerous satellites and recorded their hash codes, leaving us rather accustomed to the facility grounds. But what might we find if we deviate from the trail and look further into the world around us? We are about to delve rather deep into spoiler territory for a number of secrets and oddities that I encourage you to discover on your own. But do keep in mind that most of these revelations will occur in the early portions of the game. The later and stranger happenings are exempt from this video. Again, I encourage you to experience most of this yourself. You have been warned. Voices of the Void uses both signals, notes, and environmental storytelling in order to convey a sense of constantly evolving mystery. Whilst you redecorate, you're likely to come across a small collection of bones and, more importantly, a boarded up shaft. Breaking through the boards and ascending the ladder, a small room of ambiguous purpose. And by shifting the crates, we come across a journal left by a previous worker. Let's have a look. Day 2. Nothing unusual. Got 2 planets, ate an MRE, took a nap, bought a cactus to spend my time with. I called him Vinny, and he's sitting on my desk. It's not as bad as I thought. A bit lonely, but it's okay. Day 6. Almost a week. I'm not crazy yet, but it's not as comfortable as before. Noticed a big cluster of mushrooms next to the garage. I'm not eating these. Who knows what kind of mushrooms these are. They can be my last resort in case of an alien invasion. I'll be sitting in that bunker, running out of supplies, crying into the pillow. They do smell good, though. As for work, nothing crazy. Day 8. I think looking after that mushroom pile is my new hobby. Today I wanted to rearrange the furniture. I found a hatch, a deep and dark hole. I'll explore it tomorrow. I'm catching a lot of objects recently. 4 stars, 3 planets, a bunch of asteroids, and one object I can't quite see. Weird. Day 13. I ain't going back. Threw out everything. Who put this shit in here, and what even is it? I don't know, and I don't want to know. At least I feel safe. Today was a crazy day. Unknown object, can't see it on the screen, emitting a high-quality signal like it's sitting right on the sensors, and a big file too. Processing it right now, waiting for the results. Day 14. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know if that sound was the result of an error, noise, or old-ass equipment. But I hear speech. High-pitched, almost robotic. Echoing? I don't know. Day 15. Vinny's gone. Vanished from my desk. Yesterday he was there, and today he's just poof. I'm not crazy. I passed the test 7 out of 10 today. Not great, but I can think rationally. Maybe I was sleepy yesterday and took him with me. I'll spend the day searching for him. Day 16. Power ran out. Great. Can't do shit now. The only source of entertainment is this big, dirty window. I think I'll clean it up until the power's restored. Day 18. No light. I'm losing it in this place. Doors are locked. They open automatically. They should open automatically. It's so dark at night. And so quiet. Day 19. I fell down the hatch. I don't know if I broke my leg, but it hurts. No light. Can't see anything. The power is back on. Gonna try to get out. Day 20. Finally, I got out of this hole. If I ever get my hands on Dr. Bao. The mushroom cluster is gone too. Ripped straight out of the ground. Scratches on the concrete and garage door. I don't need bears. I have enough problems already. Day 25. The footsteps at night. Shit glows. He keeps walking around. I can't. All of my servers are down. Download speed is almost 0. The download's stuck at 99.8%. I miss Vinny. Day 30. The only way to talk to them is by sending notes on that drone, and they can't answer back! Day 34. I'm stuck. I won't send them anything anymore. I'll ride that drone. I don't care anymore. Day 36. Trying meditation today. The drone attempt was horrible. I will climb the fence and get out of here. Taking a notebook, an MRE, a crowbar. I see bright pink lights behind the mountains. I'll go check it real quick. Get out of here. With some reasonable speculation, we can assume the remains we found in the bedroom belong to the author of this journal. Leading up to their death, they experienced a multitude of unusual events, each one taking their toll on the author's sanity. Unidentified objects, inhuman voices, power outages, missing and misplaced objects, and a lurking threat. For all we know, his final message could have been written the same day as their planned escape. But if it wasn't, what could have discouraged their attempt? What if the vandalized poster in the bedroom is symbolic? When a person loses their rationality, they tend to act out. Could this scribbled drawing on the poster, replacing the stereotypical UFO, be what they saw? A hysterical skeptic turned believer, drawing what they saw? Maybe. Conversely, the scientists who hired us had been the same ones that hired the deceased writer. Outgoing communication is forbidden unless sent via a note attached to a shipment. What good is that if those who receive the letter don't respond? And if our experience is anything to go by, if we come across any extraordinary signals and send them away, various scientists are quick to threaten us if anything ever gets out to the rest of the world. So, could it be that our employers are responsible for the death of this journal's author? It's certainly possible. There is also a chance that there had been no aggressor of any kind in the first place, and that, in their confused and paranoid state, they hallucinated most of the traumatic events. When life becomes dull, the mind tends to fill in the gaps with excitement. What exactly had afflicted them is anything but clear given the situation. However, there is one detail leaving a foot in the door, one that does not wish to be overlooked. The footsteps at night. As I mentioned earlier, we are at the mercy of our imagination. When we become overly complacent, our mind tends to create details which do not exist, as a means of breaking that monotonous cycle. In our case, what if the movement you caught out of the corner of your eye was more than simple illusion? What if the near imperceptible noise you caught over the metallic screeching of a garage door originated from something outside, obscured by the night? Why not grab a flashlight? You left it on the table, or at least you remember doing so. Assuming the symptoms have set in, we've become paranoia's plaything. Do you recall the radar system I glossed over earlier? It's fully functional and provides an accurate reading. You, the radar, and our ATV. Every so often, another blip manifests. Considering how often the servers fail, and the journal's note on how old the hardware here is, this could be a malfunction itself. But when a coincidence becomes a regular occurrence, there is reason to believe that something else is at play here. The origin is the same, the time of day this occurs is approximately the same, and the speed at which it moves is near identical every single time. We are not alone here, after all. But what could it be? The journal mentioned bears, and something else. Something glowing and skulking around the compound at night. The only way we are going to find out what it is by locating the origin point. This place, the facility, the satellites, the fence, everything had been built by humans, for humans. Yet, this is only a small portion of what's available. We are exposed to the bare minimum. Locations both hidden and left in plain sight are plentiful, and leave us with more questions than answers. You may have caught the brief reference to a bunker in the journal. Just outside the garage door, a small building has been erected on the edge of the tree line. The door is sealed. Unlike the other locks, the code is not the same. The only means of viewing the interior comes from a small hole at the back of the entrance. A pity that an entire section of the facility is locked away from us. Moving our sights from the supposed safety of the facility, we ascend the tower. With a keen eye, you will spot a small structure atop a hill, fenced off and derelict, left to rot. The fence, deformed by brute force, gives us passage. At first glance, there is nothing of importance, save for a sealed pit that could be perceived as a maintenance shaft, a few supply crates, a table with a lantern, a radio playing a familiar tune, a variety of supplies, and a note. Day 41. We finally got more financial support for our mission. We can get deeper this time. But today, I noticed something interesting. The hole made one deep, bassy sound. Couldn't record it, and I don't know if it was naturally made, but it sounds like a really deep metal squeak. This hole is pretty weird. A rumbling bass escapes the pit. The origin of the auditory oddity is unclear. Even in the brightest hours of day, we are unable to see the bottom of the constructed abyss. Its purpose remains ever elusive. Lodged in the meeting point of the seal, a crowbar reaching from the inside out, like a hook, less so a lever to wedge it open. As grim as it may be, I imagine whoever had written the note had fallen into the pit with their crowbar, frantically clambering for an anchor point. But when the grate sealed, they fell into the endless hole. Although this worker's curious ventures likely ended in misery, ours remain fruitful. Assuming you are thorough in your search, a small metallic prize waits to fit in your pocket. Unidentified symbols adorn the object. Best keep it as a souvenir. Exploring further into the woods, along the fence, a hole. The outside world is ours to wander. At the main gate's security booth, bordering the river, nobody. The only evidence that someone had been here prior are the disemboweled remains of Chinese takeout boxes. Who let us in at the start of our job? And more importantly, where did they go? Again, If we're observant and search the area, we will find another metallic object. Moving to the corner of the property, an abundance of stones and boulders dot the hillside in an almost deliberate trail. At the end of the geologic path, more rocks. Tucked away behind a boulder, a door. Opening this door seems just as difficult as the bunker, though there is no keypad, just a sunken button and a large blank space. Interesting. It appears we will need several more. I'll leave that, along with the discovery of many other secrets, as a challenge for the inquisitive few. As a quick recap, we have explored the possibility of an on-site death being linked to our employers. Numerous structures are either inaccessible without some sort of abstract key, or they have been sealed off for an undisclosed period of time, with no information regarding the history of each building provided in our briefing. Whoever let us in on our first day is no longer here, if they ever were here to begin with. In the woods, an exotic animal stalks the compound at night. It terrorized one of the previous workers. What exactly it is, we are never told. Yet, we have found its den. Signals from unknown and otherworldly sources that we scan and process revealed troubling insight about our reality. Aside from vague illusion, we have avoided the topic of alien visitation. Given the circumstances, it's difficult to completely rule out the chances. Why an intergalactic race would choose to visit our lowly rock is anybody's guess. Perhaps Earth makes a fine vacation spot, maybe humans are entertaining, who knows. Ultimately, it's only a matter of time before certain parties catch on, or perhaps they already have. Since starting this essay 2 weeks ago, I have rewritten it several times over. Each iteration, I find more that is worth mentioning in favor of further unraveling the mysteries that the environment tells us. But with each speculative answer, and revision, I have more questions. I voluntarily removed several paragraphs to make this more digestible. Then again, it may still come off as somewhat sporadic. The world building is rich in both quantity and quality, coupled with the gradual rise in paranoia and morbid sense of curiosity that comes with the consistent exposure to uncertainty and the unknown. I found myself drawn to all corners of the compound, carried by wonder. At each turn, under each rock, at the base of each tree, I searched for anything to support my speculation and theories. And even when I hadn't found anything, there was no sense of defeat, only encouragement to continue searching. I'll cut myself off now before I go down another rabbit hole, or rather a bottomless pit. I wholeheartedly encourage you to experience Voices of the Void yourself. Although only a demo at the moment, there is a mountain of content to chew through, and if you feel so inclined, consider supporting the developer and their future works on Patreon. I've left links to both their Patreon and game in the description. With my ramblings out of the way, I hope this wasn't too disjointed. Thank you for your time and support, no matter how brief. Have a pleasant day.